he just told me, he's like, the pros, they're able to get over that. They're able to forget that, have a short memory, and be ready for the next at bat, be ready for the next opportunity. And that holds so true in this business because you'll experience failure.
Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your good friend Eric Thompson. Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast. So looking forward to this interview with Gavin Vargas. Gavin, welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Thank you, Eric.
It's our pleasure to have you. We're so excited that you're here. Gavin, let's start with just share with everyone where you live and the company that you're with.
I'm in Tri-Cities, Washington, which is southeastern Washington, for those of you who don't know where that is. I'm with Windermere Group 1. Windermere is like a Northwest real estate franchise. Our local office is Windermere Group 1.
Yeah, Windermere is an incredible company. It focuses on the Pacific Northwest. And for people that are trying to be really clear about where it is that you live in your market, you're specifically in Richland, Washington. And everyone should know that Richland has a population of about 65,000 people. Keep that in mind as we share some of Gavin's production numbers. So, Gavin, I'm going to brag on you a little bit, if that's okay. So
go ahead.
All right, we'll do that. So last year in 2025, you closed 69 transactions. In the last 12 months, you've closed 76 transactions. By the way, we are recording this in the middle of July. You're on pace this year to exceed 80 transactions, and your goal was 80. So congratulations, first of all, on that, Gavin.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're proud of you. You are 7 years from a Ninja installation, and that you attended your first installation when you were 21. So in 7 years, you've attained this level of production. Here's something remarkable that people need to realize. I looked this up. In Richland, where Gavin lives and works, over the last 12 months, there have been roughly 700 residential sales. So what that means is 1,400 transaction sides. So, Gavin, you yourself are about 5% of the market.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. I don't count, the number of transactions or anything. I just follow the system. I have my goals, obviously. I have my income goal. I still use the income goal, obviously with a higher income, but I still use that affirmation that I learned back in 2019. Obviously, it's increased over time, but I don't even count the number of transactions. I mean, I might maybe once a year and look, because now I do have a goal of 80 transactions this year. So I will check on that maybe once a quarter or something and see where I'm at. But no, thank you. It's humbling. I credit it to Ninja, obviously, having the system, and then also just having great mentors that work the system as well. So
yeah, you've had some great mentors in your life. What is your affirmation, if we can ask?
I enjoy earning X amount of dollars by December 31st of 2026. So
okay, so just that.
It's really simple. It's that really simple affirmation. Okay. Yep.
And that's working for you. That's great. Yep. Okay, so Gavin, we're going to dive in because people want to know, how do you do this? And also people should know that Gavin's doing this without a team. You have an assistant, you have a personal assistant, but it's just you and your assistant. So one thing I know that works for you, Gavin, is flow and live flow. So how many live flow conversations are you having on a weekly basis?
The goal is 15 per day, so that adds up to 75 per week. And obviously sometimes you fall short, but usually I'm able to hit that 75 right around there per week. 15 per day, that came from the 10 per day. And then once I kind of got comfortable with that, I like to push myself. And when business is slow, you're supposed to double down on the Ninja 9. And so when the market kind of turned, I got into a really good market, which went into a great market. And then the market kind of turned, slowed down a little bit. Everyone was like, double down on flow, especially in this office here. We're a Ninja office. Increased from 10 a day to 12 a day. Last year was 14 per day. And then this year I just said I'll do 15 per day.
So how often are you reaching that goal? Out of 10 weeks, how many times out of 10 are you getting to 15 per day?
I would say 7 to 8 out of 10 weeks. Like I said, there's just weeks you fall short and stuff, but you end up having more natural flow conversations than you realize. You go to the gym in the morning and you see folks and just kind of ask them how they're doing, how work's going, or how their family is. You go to outside extracurricular activities or whatever, you end up talking to folks that you see frequently. So yeah, you end up having those conversations. Contractors and vendors, which we'll talk about in a little bit, those people you're working with, your handymen, your people who clean your listings, those guys who are doing the paint and the flooring. I mean, you end up talking to a lot of people naturally. So yeah.
Yeah, we're swimming in abundance when it comes to people that we can connect with and have live flow interviews with, and you're intentional about it. And when you started tracking it, you realize all the opportunities that are right in front of you. So you're having live face-to-face conversations. Also, you're on the phone.
Making calls in the morning usually. And then even today, I'm going to deliver some real estate reviews to some folks. I try to get an appointment where we go have coffee or lunch, but I'll be honest, people are busy. Sometimes it's just easier to text them or call them and ask if they mind if you stop by. And actually, a lot of times you'll be surprised and they'll be like, yeah, please do, or they actually want to have you over. I would think the opposite. I think people are like, oh, my house isn't clean or whatever. And sometimes they do say that. But when you stop by, like that means a lot to people. But I'll do that with real estate reviews too. We'll go over it and I try not to take too much of their time. I kind of feel them out. They might be needing to get kids to sports or make dinner or whatnot, but just that 5 to 10 minute conversation stopping by their house can mean so much to them. But it can also get them thinking too. Like yesterday, I just did that yesterday and I kind of caught her by surprise, but we ended up having a really good conversation. So just kind of put yourself out there, be vulnerable. And also, again, we'll talk about this later, but kind of just take a genuine interest in them, want to get them that information because they do care. They do want to know how their greatest investment is performing. So
how often are you stopping by with a real estate review?
I shoot for 4 real estate reviews per week. And again, sometimes we have a scheduled appointment. Sometimes they're just like, please email it to me. I'm super busy. And that's just kind of their personality. So it probably averages out to 1 a week. But like this week, I think I'll probably have stopped by 3 or 4. So, but the average is probably 1 a week. Yeah.
Okay. So you're having 1 live real estate review pop by per week.
Yeah.
Let's go back to talk about phone calls. And I want to bring this up because this is something that people sometimes struggle with understanding and getting. And sometimes they hear 50 live interviews a week and, oh my gosh, how could I ever do that? Step 1 is to realize a lot of those will happen naturally, organically, like you said. And then step 2 is your mindset related to the phone calls. And you shared with me, Gavin, something I think really powerful related to a phone call mindset. So can you share the mindset that you've adopted as you think about these phone calls, as you have these live forward conversations by phone?
Yeah, there's there's 2 goals to that phone call besides, obviously the forward and record, getting your forward information, but the 2 things: provide value or, and or make people feel good. So those are the 2 things. And, it's easy when you are doing a transaction with somebody or following up with someone to provide that value, get them answers to their questions or get them connected with a contractor or something like that. And people really appreciate that. But then just making them feel good, making them feel heard, making them feel appreciated, making them feel understood, and just taking a genuine interest in them. When I call someone, unless we're doing like a real estate transaction or I do have some specific information for them related to real estate. If I'm just giving a call to someone, my goal is not to talk about real estate. It's to just learn what's going on in their life and just let them know that I do care about them and I am thinking about them. I call a lot of my clients throughout the year that I closed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago now. And I just see how they're doing and take a genuine interest in them and then kind of get over my fears. What do they think about me and everything? And the absence of love is fear. So just loving them. And though it's rare, but every once in a while you'll have someone who, and usually it's not even a client, but it's maybe someone you're following up with or an old connection. And every once in a while, but very rarely, they might be annoyed by the phone call or they might maybe not even like you, honestly. But what I've told myself is just kind of shake the dust off my feet and move on, just move on to the next one. And it's kind of their loss, actually, because you're another human being trying to have a connection with them and you really do care about how they're feeling and what's going on in their life. And maybe you can help them with whatever it is they're doing, or maybe you can just listen. There's so many people you talk to and they just want to be listened to. They just want to be understood. And so, our job is kind of funny, you look at a realtor and, it's like, that doesn't look that hard. That's, they're writing paperwork and they're opening doors and we're looking at houses and stuff. But The work is put in your emotions, and your emotional intelligence and your emotional competence. And it's a mentally taxing job. You're not working with your hands and you're not getting physically exhausted, but if you're doing it right, you're going to be tired by the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, because you're just pouring yourself into these people. So bottom line with these phone calls, what I'm hearing is you're making it all about them. You're not making it about you. You make it all about, okay, how can I add value to this person?
Mm-hmm.
The real estate review follow-up is a great example of that. Or how can I just make him feel good? And what feels good is to be listened to and be connected with. So you really turn that around, and any apprehension that we can have about making these calls, typically, you said it's about when we're focusing on ourselves. Gavin, something I've been looking forward to asking you and having you talk about is, who is the person that taught you about this mindset? Tell us about that really special person in your life.
Yeah, Jeff Thompson was my grandfather. He passed away in September of 2025, so fairly recently, but he's actually the founder, owner of our brokerage, and was my father figure growing up. And so he was my mentor from the time before I could walk, and so he actually instilled a lot of these ninja principles in me without me even knowing it growing up. And then I told him I wanted to get into real estate when I was just graduating college, when I was 20 or 21. And at first kind of looked at me and just kind of shook his head. He's like, you don't know what you're getting into. And, I didn't, but he took me as he was my mentor. And so, yeah, that taught him. Yeah.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to know Jeff, and he was and still is just a legend in the Ninja Nation and a force for good, impacted so many people in such a positive way. I know a lot of people listening knew Jeff, and how amazing and how special for you to have him as a grandfather. And like you said, have someone instilling these principles in you from a very young age. And you told me when you were there at the Ninja installation when you were 21, you were saying, oh, okay, so this is where a lot of that came from. This sure sounds familiar, is what you were telling yourself back when you were 21 years old at the installation.
It was oddly familiar, and it was just cool to see all these other experienced veteran agents at that time, because I was just brand new, practicing these same principles in the mindset, the power of mindset. I mean, yeah, from a young age, he always told me the importance of mindset, and we'd have those conversations related around mindset. He used to coach me in baseball, and I remember I would always get really frustrated, like most kids, when you'd strike out, right? Or you'd make an error, or a closer would blow a save or something. We'd watch games and stuff too. He just told me, he's like, the pros, they're able to get over that. They're able to forget that, have a short memory, and be ready for the next at bat, be ready for the next opportunity. And that holds so true in this business, because you'll experience failure. You won't get the listing, or a transaction will fall apart, or something like that will happen. And you just have to be able to get over that. The quicker you get over that, the better. Take what you can to learn from it and to get stronger and better and move on. You can't let that slow you down.
No, it doesn't help you to kind of wallow in that and be stuck in that. Learn from it and move on. Yeah. That's amazing. What a powerful lesson.
And you all know, just like I do. I mean, you'll have these transactions you pour your heart and soul into, and you've worked so hard, and then, you can only control so much. You're working with other individuals, but yeah, you got to be able to dust yourself off and get back up on that horse and be ready for the next one.
Keep moving. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing about Jeff. And again, it's live flow, and this is something we hear very often. What drives the business is, for someone that's at your level, more often than not, it's live flow. Your 15 calls a day is your goal. Another thing that's really driving your business, and I think something that's unique for you, that I want this to be a takeaway for a lot of people, because I think this is an opportunity for a lot of people. And that specifically, Gavin, is the percent of your business that comes from your vendors. So your appraiser, inspector, handyman, et cetera. First, tell us the percent of your business that comes from those people, and then walk us through how you make that happen.
I'd say about 20 to 25% comes from contractors and companies and vendors I work with throughout transactions, or even just through organizing client appreciation events or organizing gifts, like closing gifts and stuff like that. Just running my business. And so I'm able to work with those people a lot. A lot of the business comes from referrals from those people, and making sure you're adding them to your database. Don't think of them as just your contractor or just your handyman. Like, think of them as they're a contact. If anything, those people should be referring you the most because they get to work with you on a daily basis. They see how you work. I don't complain to them when things aren't going right, or when, they don't want to be a burden, for their real estate needs or whatever. Make sure that they know that you enjoy doing what you do. You take pride in doing what you do. Don't complain to them that this transaction is so tough, or the market is slow, or whatnot. You need to, again, just present yourself as that trusted advisor, right? Even to them. And so don't see them just as someone you hire for a specific task. They're a contact. Additionally, I treat them as a client because, when they do something for you, especially above and beyond, send them a thank you note. When an appraiser appraises one of my listings, I try to send them a thank you note and say thank you for appraising my listing. And I just keep it professional, but I just try to be, I'm sincere about it. I just thank them for appraising the home, or I thank the electrician for working promptly to make the correction or whatnot. And they appreciate that stuff because, yes, that's their job, but everyone still wants to be appreciated just like we do for our job. So,
yeah. So you treat them like a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Not just someone who's there to do that particular task. And so you're in flow with them, just like the other people in your sphere, it sounds like. Are you doing real estate reviews and things like that for them as well?
And so, yeah, it's just being genuine. And some of them already have their agents, and so you have to be respectful of that. And again, the goal is not to do a transaction with them as soon as possible. The goal is the relationship. So real estate reviews and just asking them forward questions, honestly. And then it naturally comes up. They know what you do. They know that I'm a realtor. They know that we're working to prepare a home for the market, or we're working to tackle some inspection items or whatnot. And so they naturally bring it up with you and just ask how the market is and stuff like that.
Just like with any other person, there you are, adding value, giving it a great answer. Again, I'm hoping that's a takeaway for everyone listening. There's big opportunities sitting right there in front of you when you do a really good job being in flow and adding value to those people. Something else that works for you, Gavin, are client appreciation events. So tell us all about that. How do you do your events? How many people come? What kind of results do you see?
Yeah, no, I love doing the client appreciation events. It's first and foremost, it's an opportunity to just touch every single person you've ever worked with. And you can even obviously invite prospects to client appreciation events if you want. There's no rules, so you can invite your friends and family too, because your friends and family, it's like, well, yeah, of course we're going to help you buy a house one day. If they don't, they don't. So just try to touch as many people as possible through those events, and you're just trying to just give them something to look forward to and to enjoy. And there's really not a whole lot else that I'm trying to accomplish besides just touch them, let them know that I appreciate them. Just like it says, it's a client appreciation event. Try to have a good forward conversation with them. And it's a good way to be able to touch everyone you've ever worked with, ever closed probably, or you're currently working with. I try to actually call everyone I've closed at least a couple times a year. Usually you can do that with setting up a real estate review on that annual basis. And then I would maybe call them again on birthdays or anniversaries, and for the post-closing call schedule.
You're just following the formula.
Yeah, birthdays, anniversaries. Sometimes you get to a certain time of year, it's like, oh, your child's going to start football this year. How are they? Are they excited? Just have genuine interest in them and think about them and reach out. Yeah.
Yeah, it works. Absolutely works. Something else that works for you, Gavin, are open houses.
Yep.
And you told me that about 10% of your business is coming from open houses. So tell us about your open house process and how many open houses you look to host on a weekly basis or monthly basis. Tell us about that.
I think the key for me for open houses is just knowing the property and just positioning yourself as that local expert or that trusted advisor. I hear it very often from clients or just others, folks that come through open houses. And they really want the realtor there to know about the house and about the neighborhood and about the market because they have questions for that realtor. And if you can know about the house and you can be competent, you can be knowledgeable for them, that's going to impress them in itself. And they're going to remember you, hopefully. At least they'll at least remember you. Even if they don't work with you, they'll remember you. And it just increases your chances of earning them as a client. So just being knowledgeable about the property, about the neighborhood, and just to be helpful trying to provide value for them. Sometimes I'll have comparable properties for them. Something I also mentioned too is when we do start chatting and then we find out that they might need a realtor, I let them know that my job is to help them find the right home. Even if it's my listing that I'm hosting, of course, we want to sell the home we're at now for the open house, but I let them know my job is to help you also find the right home. And if this isn't the right home for you, I can help you find other homes.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. So that you're just there to be helpful and connect and add value and to another system that's working for you.
Yep. I'm consistent with them. That's the other thing. So, I eventually get some buyers and sellers out of them. Yeah.
I appreciate what you said about really knowing the market, really knowing the home. That sounds basic. And I think that that's sometimes overlooked and sometimes maybe shortcut a little bit. And I think there's an opportunity for a lot of people listening to go even further on your research ahead of time, ahead of the open house, to really know your stuff. And that helps you to really stand out to the people that you meet.
Yeah, think like a buyer, right? Like, what the buyer coming into that specific home, what are they looking for, and be prepared to help them. Yeah.
Okay, Gavin, I have one more question for you. And before I ask it, I just want to highlight something. We say that Ninja Selling is a user-friendly selling system that works regardless of market and regardless of personality. And so what I'm hoping is that everyone, in terms of what they're getting from Gavin is a down-to-earth, very humble person. And so what's notable about that is that I think oftentimes people mistakenly, they believe that in order to do 70 or 80 transactions a year, they have to have a larger than life personality. Gavin, you have a very down-to-earth, very humble personality. And so this works regardless of personality. So please, everyone listening, have that as a takeaway, that regardless of your personality, you can have results like this. You can have success like this. You don't have to have a larger than life personality in order to achieve the kind of results that Gavin is having. Okay, Gavin, give us some advice. You have the ear of the Ninja Nation. What's anything that you would share with them? Your own wisdom, or maybe something you learned from Jeff, or anything. What would you share?
Get your mindset right first and foremost. That's the foundation of my career, was getting my mindset right way back at that installation in 2019. And that was so powerful to me. I'm just like, I can't afford to forget what I learned in that routine. And I can't afford not to practice that. It made me grow so much, not just as a realtor, but as a person back then, and still continues to. And so, just get your mindset right first. And, you'll get thrown off track. And again, like we kind of talked about earlier, get back up, get back on it. Like when you miss going to the gym that day, that's okay. Just go tomorrow. You need to just get back to it, read mastery or do your gratitudes, visualize. And I would just say continue to sharpen the saw. So exercise is really important, I think, for people. If you can push yourself physically in the morning for 30, 60 minutes or whatever, you can also apply that to other parts of your business as well. And I think about that all the time, it's the consistency, of going. So
if you want to get in shape, go to the gym. Consistent. Right. If you want your business to be in shape, be consistent with your activities. If you miss one day, that's all right. But missing 2 days in a row, that's the start of a new habit.
Yeah. And you're not going to get amazing results just doing it 1 or 2 days in a row, right? Like you have to just continue to show up and work the system. I love how in the Ninja Selling book, it talks about when you do your Ninja 9, if you don't have appointments that afternoon, go ahead and take the day off. So I'll tell myself that in the morning. I'll do the 5 daily activities, and there's just no way that you're going to have an afternoon off unless you block that time out, because the Ninja 9, the 5 daily activities, you're going to have business. It's funny. I've told myself that many times, and it's like, oh, I'll just take the afternoon off. And then, of course, you end up having business that afternoon anyways, if you want it.
Yeah, but if you're intentional about your schedule, it can create that free time for you so that you can increase your income per hour and have a life.
Yeah, exactly. It's increasing your income per hour, being more efficient with your time. Yep.
Gavin, thank you so much. We are so grateful for you, and thanks for everything that you shared.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, it's great to be here. Kind of surreal, really. Back in 2019, when I went to my first installation, never thought I would be able to join you guys on a podcast, but super grateful for what you guys do and the community.
Well, we're grateful to you for everything that you shared. And hey, I would encourage everyone to reach out to Gavin with a thank you. Gavin is with Windermere Real Estate in Richland, Washington. So it's Gavin Vargas and with Windermere in Richland, Washington. Gavin, thank you again. Everyone, thank you for joining and listening. As always, we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Take care.
If you enjoyed this episode, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com to learn more about ninja selling classes and coaching to get you started or further your journey on the ninja path.
Thank you for joining us. Now go have an incredible day.